Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? It is Johnny TCG back with another video. Today I've got an awesome video, a long time coming. People have been asking me, Johnny, where is the OP07 update for Starter Deck 8 Luffy? And I am happy to say here it is. For those that don't know, Starter Deck 8 Luffy is one of my favorite leaders. I think this leader is so underrated, and I don't get why no one else plays it. Adakai TCG plays it. He's a real one for that. He makes good videos on it too. But I don't see anyone else ever playing it. What's the deal? Let's take a look at his effect. Your turn, when a character is KO'd, this includes your own characters, give up to one rested Don to your leader. If you play down Rob Lucci, KO two of their characters, you get to add two rested Don to your leader. So now you're making plays that with other leaders just aren't mathematically possible. You're playing on turn two with 4 Don, you could play Rob Lucci hypothetically, and then swing for 7, which is not something you can do with any other leader. I love it. I think it's slept on. How many times do I have to say this? Then we're going to do a custom leader giveaway that I think is absolutely awesome, and then we're going to go into gameplay. Alright, starting off we have the leader, of course. Starter Deck 8. I just explained the ability. If you weren't listening, you snooze, you lose. Then we're going to run 3 Brooks. On play when attacking, give up to one of your opponent's characters -1 cost, and then you can KO a character with 0 cost. This card's epic in this deck. You can play it off Rebecca, you can play it off Gecko, you can play it turn 2. I absolutely love it, especially when you combo it on turn 2 with Soap Sheep to get rid of one of their 3 cost bodies, Shiraya, Doflamingo. You'll see that in the games. Next we have T-Bone, just a 2k. Occasionally you'll play it out as a body and also to KO a character, but most of the time I'm keeping it in my hand as a 2k. Kuzan. We all know Kuzan, we all love Kuzan, we all hate Kuzan because he can never stay on board. But when he stays on board, he's nice. I would definitely hear you out if you swap him for Laboon from EB01. But the thing is, Kuzan is another target for brand new at least, which is our searcher in this deck. And so that's why I'm hesitant to get rid of it. I'll test it out with Laboon instead, but I really do think this brand new search is so important. I'll get more into that in a moment. Sakazuki, 6 cost, 7,000 power, beast. On play, trash a card from your hand, KO one of your opponent's cost 5 or less characters. Tsuru, 2k, -2, on play, solid, amazing to combo with Gecko. Isho, this guy's a house. On play, trash 2 cards from your opponent's hand if they have 6 or more cards. Then during your turn, if he has a Don attached to him, give all of your opponent's characters -3. If you can play this on board and keep him on board until your next turn, it's hard to lose the game because he is just so powerful. That -3, ridiculous. Brand new. If you do not see this card in your opening hand, I'm usually mulliganing for it. It's so important to this deck. This deck is pretty inconsistent. You need to build a trash and find your pieces, and brand new is the best way to do both of those things. Turn 1, being able to get a card to replace itself, and then also put 2 cards in your trash, which you will need not only from Rob Lucci's effect, but also for Gecko later on, is huge. So if you do not see it, it's not a great start to the game, but I run 4 of these. One of my favorite cards in the deck, believe it or not. Believe it or not, with that hairline, he is awesome. 3 Sabo, self-explanatory, protecting your characters from KO, cycling cards to get some in your trash for a later Gecko play. One-legged toy soldier, fine, when you need him. He's a 2k for the most part, but then cost reduction when you need. Next we have Rebecca. Everyone knows this card by now. Off of Rebecca, we're usually playing a Brook or even a brand new, depending on the scenario. From trash, we're usually bringing back Brook, T-Bone, or Sabo. Rob Lucci, the boy. This guy's a beast in this deck. The only issue is that it's not as easy to fill your trash like it is in other decks, and so Sometimes in other decks on turn 2 you can play Rob Lucci. Now it's kind of hard to play it on turn 2 just because you won't have enough cards in your trash. Gecko, he's probably going to get banned. Hopefully he doesn't. He's a beast in this deck. The combos are amazing. Sabo, great addition to the deck. Being able to KO a 5 and 3 is good. Unfortunately, that's kind of an awkward cost to KO. So Soap Sheep is really helpful to combo this with, or an Ice Age. But overall, I run him as a 2 of, but if you told me you ran him as a 3 of, I would not call you crazy. And don't let anyone else call you crazy either. Helmeppo, 2 cost, -3, you know the deal. Kobe, activate main, you can rest him and then KO one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less. Absolutely great. He turns into a pseudo blocker after you use his effect because your opponent wants to get him off the board. Then we've got Ice Age, -5 to one of your opponent's characters. Soap Sheep, -2 to 2 of your opponent's characters. I run this as a 3 of. If you told me you ran it as a 4 of. If you told me you ran any of these as a 4 of, I would not call you crazy. The 0 cost event is great to get some cards in your trash. I don't think this deck list is perfect yet, but if you have any suggestions, I'll hear them out. Alright, time for the giveaway. Boom! Custom Leader. Starter Deck 8 Luffy with art from the One Piece Treasure Cruise series. I did not make the art. I'm not claiming to be the artist. I am not selling this. I am just giving it away to one US-based commenter. All you have to do to enter this giveaway is 1, leave a like, 2, leave a comment, and 3, be a nice person. Don't leave a hate comment and then expect to win the free Don. If this video gets 25 likes in the first 24 hours, I will send one commenter the card. It's just a fun little hobby I do. It's not super professional yet, but if you just want this cool custom leader card, like, comment, smile. That was cringe. Editor, cut that out. I fired my last editor because they did not cut out me being cringe in the last video, so this is a warning to my new editor. You better have cut that part out. Alright, let's go to the games. First game up we have against Red Purple Law. I'm going to choose the turn order and I'm going to go second. I see we have the brand new, we have the Gecko. That's what I love to see. As I mentioned in the deck profile, brand new turn 1 is so important for this deck. We have the option of Sakazuki or T-Bone. While Sakazuki can hit a bigger body, I gotta go with T-Bone because it does have counter. They played out the Rematch on their first turn, and so I'm gonna need to be careful about what I play because it will just get bottom decked, unless I can remove it first. They play out the Zoro. I take their first hit. We've got no clear turn 2 play. If I play out the Lucci, it'll just get bottom decked. So I go brand new into Suru, and then I'm gonna swing 5k with my already played brand new, and then 5k with my leader. I decide to go 2 5ks instead of 1 7k. I don't really think it makes much of a difference. Either I'm getting cards out of hand or I'm getting a hit all knife with one of them. They use Zoro to KO one of my brand news. That is fine with me. In this matchup, I love to see things in my trash versus being bottom decked. They're going to play out the Ein and then use leader ability to bottom deck my other brand new and play out the Zoro. That is a little bit of a nuisance. I was going to use Rob Lucci to KO their Zoro and Rematch, but now I have to question that. I use Soap Sheep to minus the cost of Zoro and Ein, but I'm going to KO the Ein and Rematch. While the Zoro is more of a threat offensively, I cannot let that Rematch stay on board and just get rid of my Rob Lucci next turn. I think I made the right play. Let me know in the comments if you agree. They're swinging big with Zoro. I'm almost at 2 life, and so they're definitely trying to make it so their Kidding Killer is active. I'm going to use the 0 cost event to get out of that. Now, they have a leader swing. They could play a 4 cost body. They go with a 7,000 power swing. It doesn't feel good to go down so many cards in hand, but I do not want to get down to 2 life, so I'm going to counter out of that. I'm building my trash a little bit too, which is important for this deck. Unfortunately, I do not have any cards, any 4-drops to play off of Gecko Moria. That is kind of a big issue. I'm just going to go with the Soap Sheep into T-Bone combo to get rid of the Reiju. I'll be able to get rid of the Zoro Joro too this turn, so I'm clearing their board, which is great. But ideally, I would have had a Rob Lucci in trash, and I could have developed Gecko and Rob Lucci in the same turn. Instead, I just get one 5k or 5 cost 5k body and lose a 2k from hand. They're going to go 8k into Rob Lucci, which is actually what I wanted. I really want that Rob Lucci in the trash. I can bring it back next turn with Gecko. They're going to play Mr. Tube on Clay off Leader. They're going to play Mr. Tube on Clay and then play Shiraya off Leader ability. And that is perfectly fine with me. They are both going bye-bye after this Rob Lucci Tsuru combo. If you were not familiar with the One Piece meta and you saw this play where I played Gecko and developed Rob Lucci, KO'd 2 of their characters and was able to swing 7,000, you would have thought that Black Luffy was the overpowered deck and not Red Purple Law. They're going to go 7,000 into me. I will take this. I have no other choice. Then they play out Ein and use Leader ability to bottom deck the Helmeppo and play the Killing Killer finally. I can get out of this, but I do want to see what I can get to keep in my hand. I'm going to kind of go for game here. Let's see what they give me. And there was no surviving that. Even they could have countered out of that Gecko swing, but they would not have been able to counter out of my Lucci swing and then my Leader swing. So GG's, this deck has a decent matchup into Red Purple Law, I'm telling ya. Next up, we have a game against Green Yellow Yamato. I only have one 2k in hand, but I do have the 0 cost 3000 power counter event, so I am pretty comfortable using it. Turn 2, I could go Rebecca if I need to. They only swing for 6,000, which catches me off guard. I usually see Yamatos swing for 8,000. So I can counter out of that. They play Tonoyasu, which is not a card I've ever seen played before. Kind of interesting. It's not much of a threat. I'm not worried about it. I'm going to start the turn by going 5,000 with Leader. They take that. And then I'm just going to play out the Rebecca. Unfortunately, there's nothing in my trash to take back or play. They've got 5 Dom to work with. And they're going to play out the Hiyori, taking the top card of their life. And they'll play something to the top of their life from their hand. Then they're going to swing 8,000 at me. I am going to block out with Rebecca. Whatever they put in their life is probably a trigger that requires me to be at 3 life cards, and so I'm going to do my best not to be at 3 life. I'm going to start off the turn by swinging 5. If this is a trigger that can be played, I can use Sakazuki to pop it. I swung first as well because I do not want any of my cards to be affected by a potential Nami trigger. I'm going to go Sakazuki this turn and not use his effect because I don't think discarding a card is worth KOing either of their characters on board, even if they do get some value out of that Tonoyasu, the card I'm unfamiliar with. They're going to use it, power up their Leader, play Otama. They're at 8,000 power and could possibly swing for even more. I am not worried about it though. They search with Otama, get the Momonosuke. They search with the Momonosuke, get the Ryuma. And now they're going to swing 9 at me. I have to take this. We get the Soap Sheep, and I'm going to use the trigger, make them trash a card from their hand. I am in a pretty good spot. I am not really nervous. Now, whatever they put on the top of their life is probably active now, so I need to be careful about that. They've got 6 cards in hand. I'm at 8 done. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? I'm going to play the Isho. We get them to trash the Ryuma and the Hiyori. I'm going to swing 7 into Momonosuke, which is such overkill, but I'm going to do it anyway. And now I'm going to swing 6 into Hiyori. This may seem kind of dumb, but my logic is that if they have put something like a Kikunojo into life, I won't have any way to deal with it this turn, and so I'd rather just get rid of the Hiyori and wait till next turn, where between the Isho, the Rob Lucci, the Soap Sheep, I should be able to deal with whatever it is. They're in a little bit of an awkward situation here. They've got 9 done. We could see Hody Jones. We do, which isn't amazing for them. That Hiyori they played ended up being worthless because now they are just taking that card back. Maybe you could have the perspective that it wasn't worthless because it got me not to swing at their life. So I definitely hear you out on that argument. But they're going to swing 10 with Hody Jones. Who are they going to swing at? 11 at Hody Jones. This is absolutely insane. I'm being facetious, everyone. They're going to go swing 11 at the 9,000 powered Isho. I am not going to let this Isho go. It is way too valuable to me. I'm going to get rid of the Sabo with the 0 cost event. I could bring back the Sabo next turn with Rebecca if I really want to. We'll see what I end up doing. Then they're going to go 6,000 with Leader into me, and I'm going to give him the 2k T-Bone. Starting off my turn, I give 1 Dan to Isho to bring both of my opponent's characters -3 cost. Then I'm going to use Soap Sheep to bring down the Hody Jones to 2, and I'm going to play out the Rob Lucci. Put some cards to the bottom of my deck, KO that Hody Jones, KO the Otama. Now my leader got 2 rested Dan. I am feeling good here. They concede. They would have been able to survive this onslaught of swings, but they would not have been able to win that the next turn, and then I just would have been able to destroy them the next turn, so they conceded a little early. Our next game up is against Green-Blue Zoro Sanji, the dual leader. That is pretty fun to play, but unfortunately I'm not very good at it. I'm going to mulligan my first hand, and honestly it is not much of a better hand, so I kind of regret it. I do not have the brand new turn 1 play, which is my favorite turn 1 play for this deck. They're going to go 5,000 at me. I can counter out of this, but I'm looking for a Brook or some other card to KO. They play down the Doflamingo, and one of my favorite turn 2 combos is Soap Sheep into Brook, so we're going to say a little prayer, hope that we top deck the Brook here. We do. I have Divine Luck, don't you know? So even though it might be a little early to use resources like Soap Sheep and Brook, this is going to be a great play because I'll be able to swing for 6 without a blocker on the field, and then I have Brook established for next turn. So depending on what they play, I may be able to KO it before it gets any value. They take the 6k swing, and I pass. If they want to get rid of the Brook, they would have to use some sort of event, like 3,000 Worlds. They go Jinbei into Mihawk into Weevil, which is a crazy combo. That is absolutely ridiculous. A little misplay here, as if they gave 1 Dan to their leader, they would have swung for 6,000, and they would have been able to restand the Weevil. It really does not make much difference in the scheme of things because it does not change the way I'm going to play this turn. I'm definitely going to use Ice Age to get rid of one of these characters, and it seems a little dramatic to use an Ice Age on a 4-cost character, but I need to get rid of their board or it's going to cause me plenty of issues. So I'm going to Ice Age the Jinbei, swing 5 into lead, KO the Jinbei, use leader ability, so now I'm going to be at 6,000. And let's see what they do with that 5,000 swing. They take it, Oh, I appreciate that. I think about swinging 6 into the Weevil, but I know they're just going to counter out of that. With 6 cards in hand, no way they don't have the counter to get rid of, to fend off a 6k swing into it. I decide to go into Leader, so they're forced to either take a life or give me a 2k, which they do give me the 2k. And then I play out the 4-cost Kuzan. If it stays on board, it is a beast. The only issue is it rarely can stay on board. 4,000 in the Brook. I debate if I want to let the Brook go just because it's so valuable, and in combination with Kuzan, it's a beast. But they're going to have plenty of swings this turn, so I just got to let it go now. They use the Red Rock on the Kuzan, which, talk about dramatic. I mean, I don't think it's the wrong play. You've got to get rid of that Kuzan one way or another because it is going to decimate your board. So, good for them. They got rid of my Kuzan. They swing 6 with Weevil. I take it and I get the Sabo out of life. Now they swing 6 with Leader. Restand the Weevil. I'm going to counter out of these. I don't want to go too much lower into life. So I give him the 2k Suru and then I give him a 2k T-Bone. We get the Rob Lucci, which I like to see. But I'm actually going to play out the Sakazuki this turn. Trash the Rob Lucci so that if I get a Moria, I'll be able to play it back from the trash, which is one of the bread and butter combos of this deck. And then I'm going to swing 8,000 with Lead. They counter out of that. They're getting a little bit low on card size, which I love to see. They play out the Sanji, and I was confused here, but they topped deck another OP06 Sanji, so they weren't able to play that. I'm not sure if they had accounted for that or if they were just playing the Sanji blind. Either way, not great for them. I am in a very comfortable position. I'm going to swing 7,000 at them with Sakazuki. They take that. They don't have enough cards in hand for me to get value out of the Isho play, but if they take this, then I'll be able to trash 2 cards. They're going to counter out of my 7k Leader swing, and then I play the Isho. I don't see how they're going to be able to come back from this. If they were to maybe Gum Red Rock the Isho, that would be a good play, and then swing into the Sakazuki. The 10-cost Dofi would also be an amazing play there, so they do not have it. I was a little worried about it. They play the 4-cost Gecko from starter deck 3, draw the Dracula Mihawk 2k counter, the green one from the trash, and they're going to swing 9,000 at my Sakazuki. I am going to counter out of this, and you might be able to consider this a misplay. Let me know what you think of my logic. I'm going to counter out of this with both of my 2Ks. The reason I do this is because I think the Sabo will have could have a lot of value next turn. So I give them 2Ks. With 6th on left up, I was convinced they were going to Red Rock my Isho. So that's why I needed to keep the Sakazuki alive so bad, because it would have been the swing I needed. I see them give 3 Dawn to their Leader, and now they're going to swing at Sakazuki. I did not expect that at all. Unfortunately, I only had 1k of counter, so I have to let the Sakazuki go. They play down the 3-cost Dofi blocker, but I do not think it will be enough. I've got the Rob Lucci in my hand. I've got the Isho on the board that'll bring all of their characters to -3 cost. I give Isho a Dawn, play out the Rob Lucci. This game is over. Gonna be able to KO their Gecko and Dofi. Now I've got 2 huge swings coming at them. Even if I didn't somehow get game here, maybe if I just went for the 9-cost Sanji, I still would be in a very comfortable position and have no real threat of death. They take the 11,000 swing from Isho, and now they're going to take the 11,000 swing from Black Luffy. They almost get there, but not quite. That was a fun game. It seemed like they were never really able to get their footing 100%, find themselves in a good rhythm. Now we've got a game against Red Purple Law again. I'm telling you, this matchup is not that bad for Black Luffy if we see our pieces. We do not have the brand new turn 1 like I love, but that's okay. We have an Ice Age and Brook, which will be solid as well. We're going to take their first hit. They have 3 Dawn up, and they go with the Shiraya. I'm gonna want to get rid of the Shiraya like I did with the Dofi last game, and so I'm going Suru into Brook to KO the Shiraya, and then I'll swing 6 with my leader. They'll probably take this, which they do. They don't want to waste a 2k so early on. They go 5 cost Kid, which will not be an issue because I can just Ice Age it, then hit it with Brook. I'm telling you, that combo is diabolical. They are able to bottom deck the Suru, which I do not care about. And they play out the Reiju, so they're able to replenish their hand a bit, which is not ideal. Now they can swing 6, and I can give them a 2k. I don't want to go down too much life so early on, so I give them the Suru. I'll be able to bring that back with Gecko and maybe combo it with something. I go 1 Dawn, Ice Age the Eustace Captain Kid. Now I'm going to swing 5 into lead with Brook, KOing the Kid, giving my leader 1 rested Dawn. We are at 6. They have the 1k to block to counter out of the Brook swing, which is fine. Just trying to get cards out of hand, really. Do they have the 2k? They do have the 2k. I've got 4 Dawn left to work with. My only option really is to play the Rob Lucci and not use his effect. While it does feel really bad to play Rob Lucci without using his effect, it's still a 6k body that they have to answer. They swing 5 into the Brook, which I'm so happy about. I am happy to have that in my trash so I can play it out with Gecko if I need to. They play out another Reiju to draw more cards and swing 6 at me. Do I want to give them my only 2k? I really don't. I really don't. So I'm going to take this. I get another 2k. That's fine. I'm happy to have the 2k. I don't have any great plays next turn lined up. With leader ability, they're going to play the Chachi and Penguin. And now I've got a decision to make. I'm going to go Gecko into Brook, even though I'm not KOing anything. But I am establishing the 9,000 power body that is Gecko, and then having a Brook on field in the active position is nice. I'll give one of the Reijus -1 just to be a little silly. Now I'm going to go 6k with the Lucci into Reiju. They will counter out of this as expected. I'm just happy to get cards out of hand. And now I'll swing 5 with leader into it. They are debating. They do have the 1k counter. They get rid of the queen. They are down to 4 cards in hand. Now 5 after drawing for turn. I have another Gecko I can play next turn, which is great. I have 7k worth of counter in hand, 3 life, a couple big bodies. I'm feeling good. They play down the Raise Max and lower Rob Lucci, and then they swing into it, which catches me off guard. I don't think they should have swung into it because now I can play it next turn off the Gecko. And so I was very happy when I saw that they did that. They're going to go 5 with Reiju into leader. Do I want to give them a 1k or do I want to take the life? If I take the life, I do let their Kid Killer effect be active, so I give them the Brook for 1k. I don't think I'll need it right now in hand because I do have T-Bones if there's something I need to get rid of. I take the 7k swing. I did not want to give them 2 2ks. And now they're going to swing 7 with leader. I will give them a T-Bone and a Sabo. I expect them here to play a Kid and Killer, off leader ability and then swing for 8, but they actually play the Otama and are going to minus Brook by 2,000. This I did not see coming. While it's not ideal, them being able to bottom deck my Brook, they did just have to give me a 2k counter from hand, so I'll let it slide. I'll allow it. They play a Reiju, draw more cards. I guess they just keep seeing their Reijus. Luckily, I have the Gecko into Rob Lucci and Suru combo. I'm going to minus the cost of the newly played Reiju, and then I'm going to activate Rob Lucci's effect. I get to KO Otama and Reiju, use leader ability, so now I'm at 7,000 power, and then I am just going to do my best to clear their board. 9,000 with Gecko into Shachi and Penguin. That hits, so I get to add another Restodon to my leader. And now I'm going 10 at Reiju. I don't imagine they'll counter this. And they give it to me, which is great. Only 2 swings right now. They are at 5 Don. If they have Kidding Killers, they will be dangerous this turn, but I do have plenty of counter. 7,000 at me with Reiju. I think I might bait them into going for game here and not playing any blockers or anything to bottom deck my characters, so I'll take it. I get the Rob Lucci, which is not ideal. Would have preferred more counter cards or cost reduction, but it is what it is. 7,000 with leader. Again, same thing. I'm going to take this. Unfortunately, I get a Kuzan, which is even worse than Rob Lucci. They are going to have the Gordon to bottom deck, likely going to hit the Lucci, which is not ideal. I probably would have been able to go for game next turn, but alas, it is what it is. Might be a lie. I don't know if I would have went for game. I don't think so. I top deck the Sabo, which is perfect in this situation. I did not have any cost reduction to get rid of the Mr. Tube on clay. Unfortunately, I'll only be able to get rid of one of their characters, but that's fine. I'll take it. I'm going to put the Kuzan in trash. I have no use for it, and get rid of the Mr. Tube on clay. I get to use leader ability, and now I'm at 6,000 power. Here, I'm going to swing 6,000 into Reiju, hoping that they counter out of it. I know swinging with Gecko would be almost a guaranteed KO, but I'm trying to get them to give me counter from their hand. They don't, which is not ideal. I could swing into them twice here with both my Geckos, but I am really risking it. If they have a Kidding Killer, this game will be over. Just because I can only block I only have so much counter in my hand. While 6k is a lot, that Kidding Killer and its effect will be an issue. So I only decide to swing with one Gecko, leaving them with 2 life cards. They won't be able to get rid of everything on my board, so I am safe to go for game next turn if I can survive. They swing 10 at me. I have to use all of my counter to get out of this. I am convinced it's all over for me. I am on my knees. It is the middle of a Walmart, and I am on my knees. Unfortunately, they don't have it. They play out the Zoro Joro, and that is GG's. I've got 3 9k swings, and then 10 Don to work with and a leader swing. I can't imagine. I was so caught off guard with the trigger there. It was a miss all Sunday, but it's GG's. It did not make a difference. And that's it. Alright, everybody. Those are the games I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed them. What did you think about this deck? What did you think about the games? I would love to hear your feedback. Don't forget to comment and like the video if you want to win the custom leader card. It is absolutely beautiful. If you win, you will be one happy camper. And that's all I got today. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Let me know what leader you want to see next. I love you all. Good night.